Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
Hello again, everybody, from our house to your house. Welcome into a big fun show tonight on Talking Memphis Wrestling. I'm Michael St. John, and I am not your host tonight, but I'm opening the show tonight and bringing on a very special guest, the one and only Pat Trammell. Pat, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Had a good day today. Been thinking about first take. This is my first take. You remember, oh God, I forgot who the guy was, but he would say he was on the radio. Michael, I'm sure you had him on, had his show on. He'd say, you know what makes me so angry? Earl P. somebody.
Earl Pitts.
Great American.
Jerry Burbank.
I'm going to be Earl Pitts today. You know what makes me so angry? This college football playoff. I'm going to fix for America this college football playoff. That's my first take. We're going to have 10 conferences. The SEC is going to have the original 10 teams as God intended. And everybody's going to play everybody. And then we're going to have 120 teams in 10 conferences, the Southwest Conference, the Pac-10, the Big Ten, the ACC, and we're going to take all the conference champions, and we're going to have the conference champions in the playoff, and that'll fix everything.
You know, you're on to something. I'm not going to disagree with you. You are on to something because, of course, we live in a state where the world exploded Sunday at about noon. And so, it's into something. But, when we had two teams, we had people bitching. When we had 4 teams, we had people bitching. We got 12 teams, we still got people bitching. So I don't know how it's all going to turn out. I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to play off your first take and my first take, because my first take is I'm tired of the money grab of college football. And that's what it has become. You know, I'm not saying the conference games, the championship games weren't good Saturday, but why have them in this world and day and time? And Alabama fans are all hacked off about the fact, well, they didn't look at strength of schedule. Well, next year they might. And you got this Jim Broney that's the athletic director at Alabama, who I'm not a fan of. And he's out there saying, well, we've got all the conference games with Wisconsin and Florida State and Ohio State and Notre Dame coming in. We're going to have to look at that. Well, when you drop those games, you cheat the people that come and buy the $200 tickets now to sit in the seats, because that's what they're basically going for in Tuscaloosa on a regular game.
I know.
And you're not going to, but you're not going to watch South Florida and Mercer and UTC and all these other teams when there are better games around. So I think college football has got to have a come to Jesus meeting. I think it's got to start at the highest level. And I think they're going to have to figure it out to where there's more parity now as far as play, but as far as the way all of this is turning out, it's the haves and the have-nots and the has-beens and the wannabes, and that's got to be fixed. So that's my first take. Let's get off of football, though, and let's get into something more important, because the reason we're here tonight is to wish the man of the hour, the Tower of Power, the one and only Randy Hales, happy birthday. Hello there, Randy.
Happy birthday.
Hey, a little different start to this program today. We try to do stuff different every time, and here we go today. And I will start by saying the Randy Hales story started in Jonesboro, Arkansas on December the 10th, 1961. Also, you can figure it out that it is December 10th, 2024 right now. So what that means is, Pat Trammell, what that means, Michael St. John, is it's Randy Hales, good ORH, the owner, the founder, the president of Power Pro Wrestling. It is my birthday today, and I've been busy. I've got so many comments, especially on Facebook. Over 500 people has wished yours truly a happy birthday. That is exciting. I want to tell you, we'll get to it a little later on in the close of the show. I'll do a special close, but I want to, Michael, you like radio stories. I know you like radio stories. Pat's a radio mark too, not only a wrestling mark like we all are, he's a radio mark. I was a subject of a ruse, a rib, a joke on the Arkansas Morning Show on K-Fine Radio, and we'll put the picture up there of Brandon Baxter and myself as I tell this story. So he's always does a great job, send me nice text on my birthday, always mention it on the radio. So he started out fine. He started out good and says, happy birthday to good old RH, happy birthday to Randy Hales, happy birthday, that no telling how my life would be. He's talking about himself. Brandon says he doesn't know how his life would be if it wasn't for me and bringing him to Jonesboro, led to Power Pro, led to the radio, led to him meeting his wife, led to his kids. So that's all heartfelt stuff. But then, Michael and Pat, do you know what he said next?
God only knows when it's Brandon.
Well, it was bad. He pulled the rib of all ribs. Now, he tells the people, and this is impossible. They can't do it. He don't have my car keys or anything like that. And this is just impossible. But he says that I drive for Uber. Said, I'll take the girls anywhere all over the country. I'll take the guys anywhere all over the country. As long as you have money, Randy Hales will take you, and he will take you anywhere. And that was good. He was making that funny. But he says, but here is the warning. Then he starts screwing with my money, because that's how I make my living. Then he says he's planted a camera in my car.
Oh.
And then he said, "Oh, we're having trouble with video, but we have the microphones working." Then all of a sudden we hear horns blowing the horns, blowing the thing. Then brakes, car out of control sounds, and all kinds of things. He said, "For that matter, if you get Randy Hales as an Uber rider, you need to run as far away from that person as you can, because he can't drive." With friends like Brandon Baxter, who needs enemies, Michael and Pat?
Oh, man. The rib of all ribs on the radio, man, just cut you to the quick, man.
Yeah.
I tell you. Oh, that's the thing about radio and live radio, and I absolutely love it. We had another bloodbath in our broadcast industry over the past 10 days. Both the two biggest companies in our business have laid off just prior to Christmas almost 2,500 people across the United States. And it's really sad. So when I hear a story of a Brandon Baxter or somebody local that's doing local radio with local personalities and celebrities like you are, Randy, I appreciate that. Now I know he's ribbing you, and I know it probably, it may have been a little too far, but at the same time, my big deal is publicity is publicity. As long as it's not an arrest rap, it's publicity. And as long as you're not on the police blotter, it's publicity. So even if they say bad things about me, and my gosh, people have been saying bad things about me for 56 years on the radio, hey, they got my name out there. So Randy, from all of us, we understand your concern, but all in good love and good faith. I think Brandon paid you a real tribute.
Oh, it was fantastic. Let me ask you a question, just a quick answer. I'm just curious. National radio brands laying off. Can you mention who that was or not?
Cumulus and iHeart. iHeart was first, and then Cumulus followed shortly thereafter. May I take a moment of the show just to do one thing, Randy, before we all get going here?
Yes.
And
we'll talk wrestling in a minute, people. Hey, Amen. There, Frank Seaton. We'll talk wrestling in a minute, but Michael has something important to say.
Over the past 28 years, every morning on the Funhouse Morning Show, we do our birthday club. And we have a very, very special birthday song. So if you would.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. Hey, thank you very much. How's that for having a radio personality with a board right in front of it? Great audio, Pat.
Yes, sir.
Nobody
Absolutely.
does it better than old Blue Eyes himself. Happy birthday, Randy.
Thank you so much. We're putting to bed 1983. We'll start 1984, but I want to start with Adam, who is here. I'm going to start with him putting up the card from December the 5th. And I talked about this card last week, and we'll take a look at it as the opening match was Nature Boy Buddy Landell. Before he was the Nature Boy, he had black hair against Angelo Poffo. The second match of the night was the Grapplers against the Jaguar, which is Danny Davis, and Plowboy Frazier. Then came a 12-man, $5,000 challenge match with the Moondogs, the A-Team, which was Roger Smith and Don Bass, the Bruce Brothers, Porkchop Cash, and the Dream Machine with Jimmy Hart against this team, Terry Taylor. It's funny, anytime I mention Terry Taylor, Chris Ellis is not on. He sees the notes and all of a sudden he no-shows. Beautiful Bobby Eaton, Stagger Lee, who was Coco Ware, Robert Gibson, Art Cruz, and Dr. Tom Pritchard. Then the next match was for a return U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship, Junior Heavyweight title with Bill Superstar Dundee in a no-time, no disqualification match against Rick Morton. Then a CWA World Tag Team Championship match, Dennis Condrey and Norvell Austin, the Midnight Express, against the team of Dutch Mantell and the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol, followed by the Southern Tag Team Championship match, the Fabulous Ones against the Road Warriors, December the 5th in 1983. Southern Heavyweight title match, the debut of Macho Man Randy Savage against Jerry the King Lawler. And look at that card, look at all those matches, and look at the ticket prices. $4, $5, $6. Pat Trammell and Michael St. John, that fantastic card. Do you think people got their money's worth in that?
Wow.
You don't see ticket prices like that.
I bought the whole front row out, man.
Amen. Amen. Lord help
wow.
us. And talk about just looking at that lineup on that card, the number of wrestlers involved. How many of them are in Wrestling Halls of Fame now? I mean, you think about it, half of that card, it has to be over half of that card, are in some kind of Wrestling Hall of Fame now. That's
Absolutely.
An incredible lineup.
That may be, and I'm curious about this, and I'd like to go through a book of that. Is about as stacked a card as I have ever seen, I believe.
I'm telling you that's talent. That's talent galore. And at the end of '83, 83 was a good year for a lot of people. And at the end of '83, I think we were sort of going this way with the world again, and people were excited about wrestling. And I think we're at the peak, Pat. Something that you always bring up of Channel 17. This was right around the peak of the quote unquote superstation era, because Channel 17 in Atlanta, WOR in New York, WSBK in Boston, the state KO, WGN in Chicago, in Denver, KOA TV, out in Los Angeles, KTLA, and in San Francisco. Dallas, Fort Worth, you had like 9 superstations across the United States. And Georgia Championship Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, had just gotten into all of them, with maybe the exception of Dallas. So you really it was the rise of the superstar era. But at the same time, I think at this time, if you look at '83 across the territories, I think just about all of the territories were doing bang up business.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. That card we just read was December the 5th. The following TV was December the 10th. That would be the first appearance on TV5 Wrestling with a nut, with the Macho Man, Randy Savage. And on Talking Memphis Wrestling on my 63rd birthday, we'll go to December, whatever I said. You said it was
11th.
December the 10th.
Tonight.
December the 10th. On my birthday. On my birthday.
37 years ago tonight.
Let's watch.
He got a one
That
count,
video.
then realized that it was a choke. Stopped it immediately. Ken Reaper into the ropes. Reaper body slam.
Hello, Calvin and Jerry.
What is 18?
Everybody
Big,
watching
powerful.
today. Frank,
They've got some moves, too.
Greg Wayne, PJ.
Raper off the rope. Oh, look out.
Look at these guys.
Get the camera on me right now. Randy Savage.
Roger Smith and Don Bass, the A-Team.
Right now. That's it, right there. 4 years, baby. 4 years. You know who you're talking to right now? You know who you're talking to right now? The Macho Man, Randy Savage. And I ain't being under no longer, no. 4 years, man. Where's Lawler? Get him out of here right now. Get him out of here right now. Get him out of here right now. You stand back. You stand back, man. Don't tell me nothing, man. Don't tell me nothing, man. Don't tell me nothing. I'm the world heavyweight champion. 4 years, 8 months, 13 days. Get the king out of here. Come on. Get the king out of here right now. Get the king out of here right now. Don't tell me nothing, man. Don't tell me nothing. Why don't you just take it on?
Miss Jerry, Savage was in my race. Savage was so creative.
The A-Team up there ends up with a win.
A-Team has won. Match is ended. A-Team has won.
You ain't never met nobody like me.
Boy, you got that right. I want to tell you. Okay, just put it down. Put it down. Yeah. Hey, listen, we don't have to put up with you around here on that thing. Hey, let's take a break. Just go to a break. Take it right now. If you will, just keep on going.
More chaos.
Give me the microphone.
Come on, Randy.
Don't touch me nothing there.
Yeah, please. Just take him on out of here now.
I didn't even know.
December 10th, 1983.
What a moment.
This is our program.
Hey, Jerry Lawler, man. Jerry Lawler. A cage match where you man can't come in the cage and save the king.
Nobody wants to come in.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I want you to
Oh, no, you
Here
got
right
to,
now before we
man.
can finish.
No, you got to do it, man. You know why? A picture's worth 1,000 words. No, you got to do it. You know why? Because he can't beat me. I am the best in the world. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. Lawler knocked my dad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, to in the face. But you know what? If Jerry Lawler's dad was alive, you know what he would tell him? He would tell him not to get into the steel cage with me. Well, he would tell him not to get in. No. He would tell him not to get in the steel cage. Watch it, man.
Now, you said what you wanted to say. I'll tell you something. If you don't get out of this studio, I'm going to call the police in here and get you out of here. That's what I'm telling you. Now, we don't have to put up with this, so we'll get the police down here and they'll get you out of here. Oh, yeah,
Lance threatening to call the police. That didn't happen, right?
Angelo, why don't you get him out of here? We've got a match set. Let's see the worth 1,000 words. A pile driver. Okay, he's going to call him. Listen, we don't want anything to do with the police. Let's get him out of here. Isn't that great? That's my son. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that terrific? You want me to get him out? Okay. Listen, I'll get him out. Don't worry, I'll get him out. Well, go ahead and... I'm proud of my son. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. Come on. Angelo Popo counting out for Randy Savage, the Macho Man. Henry Rutledge and the Pink Panther both hit with a pile driver by the Macho Man. Come on.
One thing, the only thing you proved to me is that when Lawler's not around here, you come in here and jump on a couple of guys like that.
A couple of kids in here.
We don't need any more Macho Man around. Angelo, let's get him out of here now because we're coming.
Savage beat up the Pink Panther and Henry Rutledge.
So this was a studio interruption or a studio invasion kind of angle that they shot with this.
It's just guys like that.
Yes,
Make every
and it's the debut appearance of Randy Savage.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not supposed to be prejudiced, but I just can't wait. I just absolutely cannot wait until the action gets underway when the King gets a hold of this guy. I just can't believe it.
That was exciting. When we come out of this video in about 40 seconds, I'll tell you what was wrong with it.
Absolutely is the most
I'll give you the guys the opportunity to tell me what was wrong with what they just did.
Let me flip over to I'm going to get away from this glass, Dave. Maybe we can get this stuff cleaned up. Throw it up Monday night.
Okay, Pat, what was wrong with that?
I don't know if any. I don't know what was wrong with it. What struck me is I never saw Randy Savage until he got to WWE, but I thought he was a Vince creation. I mean, that's the same Macho Man that wrestled in WWE.
What was wrong with that, Michael?
I thought it went on a little too long. I mean, it was a repetitive kind of thing, and over and over and over again. And he jumps in the ring, and he supposedly he's not sanctioned to be a wrestler, and he's in the ring, and he pile drives two guys, and which is the ultimate sin in USWA or CWA or whatever concoction we were back then. There were several of those kind of elements going, but the idea of showing him as a crazy man was, at that point in his career, pretty much on cue. I mean, that was the image that he was all about at that point in his career.
Now, let me tell you the story of what went on and how Savage got there.
Okay.
First of all, that as Greg said, Angelo Poffo, Randy and Lanny owned ICW and was opposition to the Jarrett promotion in Lexington, Kentucky, where they were based out of, all over. They were what we called back in the day outlaw promotion. They would advertise their house shows. Then they'd say Randy Savage or Bob Root versus Jerry Lawler if he shows up. he gets $2,000. They promote our promotion more than they would promote their promotion. Well, they were running out of business. They couldn't make it. So Lanny Poffo then got a job because they were in opposition to a legitimate promoter, so they had trouble getting jobs. Lanny finally got a job with Bill Watts in Mid-South Wrestling. Then Angelo called Bill Watts and wanted him to take Randy. And he just Watts didn't have room. So Watts called Jerry Jarrett, who wasn't booking at the time, and say, I know this guy. Randy Savage and the whole ICW crew showed up in Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Every wrestler in this territory started carrying guns. I mean, it was a serious situation. So the fans didn't know that heat. Maybe they did in Lexington that saw the ICW TV, but they certainly didn't know it in Louisville or didn't know it in Memphis. December the 5th, just for about 10 seconds, put that card back up there. Please, Adam. From December the 5th of 1983. What is the final match listed as the main of? It says triple main event, but the final match is what?
Lawler and Macho.
The match underneath that is what?
Road Warriors and the Fabs, which I think we saw the tape of last week.
Yes, sir, we did. That's good, Adam. Thank you very much. This is my theory. Because of, and we talked about it last week, and I told you a story, Lance came to me and said, kid, the wrestling business is changing. We have the Road Warriors hot off that television, TBS, the business will never be the same. That's what drew that house. The next week, the very next week, it was a return match in a cage. Now, the first thing they did wrong with the match with Savage and Lawler is that they did a disqualification and didn't do a heat type of thing. What they did at television, Lawler wasn't there, Savage was there, and he got over as a crazy, out of control character. Where's the heat, Michael? Where's the heat?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying now, yes.
Where's the heat, Pat?
I get it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It did 9,000 people with the Road Warriors and the Fabulous One and Lawler against Savage. The next week in a cage, any guesses what it drew?
I would think it was down.
Less than 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they did wrong. If they would have done a hot heat finish with Lawler and Savage, then they'd have got it. They would have, or something drastic. If Randy Savage would have choked Lance Russell, that's heat.
Mm-hmm.
Going out there and beating up 200 talent that got beat every week, the people cheered. Did you notice the people was giving a baby face?
Absolutely.
Wow.
The ones that weren't cheering were yelling, bring out Lawler, bring out Lawler. So, I mean, and I see your point too there is again, and I've said this before on the show, what do you do for an encore when your first act is suicide? And that heat may have been over the top for what we saw, but what the reaction was not what the promoters wanted to see to draw money. That's your point.
Right, absolutely. It didn't draw money, but that's what happened. Now, certainly Savage had the reputation, Angelo had the reputation, Lanny was also always quiet and didn't have any bad reputation at all. It helped that Bill Watts had nothing but good things to say about how professional he was. Also, by that time, you know, it's just a different world at the same time. Bill Dundee ended up in Louisiana, and Lanny Poffo and Dundee got along well. But Michael, you had your hand up.
My question is this, as a timeline. Was this angle that we just shot on TV before the altercation with Dundee and Hendersonville at the road gym at the Gold's Gym, or after? Do you know in the spectrum of time where that was? Because there was a quote unquote gun involved in that.
It was
At least what
probably
I
10
ever heard.
months.
10 months before or 10 months after?
10 months before.
Okay.
10 months before. Funny story of Bill was finishing up on that show, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but he was going to Louisiana. Well, Jamie Dundee, all of 12 or something like that, was there, and they passed Savage in the thing, and Bill tells this story all the time. They walked down the thing, and there was Randy Savage. The last time Savage and Dundee saw each other was at Gold's Gym in Goodlettsville, I believe, where that was. I could be wrong on that, but anyway.
I think it was Hendersonville. There was a Gold's Gym in Hendersonville.
They ended up, all the ICW crew was there. Dundee said, "I'll restore order." He grabs a gun. Savage jumped on Dundee's back. Dundee raised the gun, pointed at Randy Savage, or Angelo Poffo, says, "You get your ass off of me or I'll blow his freaking brains out." Before that also was a issue. And by the way, in that situation, Dundee had a hurt jaw. So there was big heat. But that was in like February, something like that. And this debut was in December. Jamie Dundee meets Randy Savage for the first time. His dad Williams said, "Are you the son of a bitch that my dad put a gun on, that sucker punched my dad? My dad was going to kill you." And Bill says Savage's response was, "Heavy drugs, kid, heavy drugs, heavy drugs." And that was the thing. Dennis, I hope that answered your question. I hope I told that by memory accurately, Michael.
Let me give a little prelogue to that, if you would. In 80, right after Jerry had bought out Nick, Angelo got Nick's TV segment that was on Channel 17. Now, Nick Goulas had at the time Channel 5 in Nashville, which was the CBS affiliate, #1 affiliate in the town, and ran at, I want to say, a 2:00 afternoon time period on Saturdays. Channel 17 in Nashville had a late night hour that they gave, or that Nick had bought or had contracted for, and I want to say it was at 10:30 to 11:30, and Randy and his dad came to me, or called me out of the blue, and I had known Randy from before working with Nick, and asked me if I would come and commentate for them, not on the show they were shooting in Lexington, which I believe Les Thatcher was their commentator, if I'm not mistaken, but they were wanting to shoot a B show live at Channel 17 for Channel 17 WZTV in Nashville, which is now a Fox affiliate, but they weren't that strong back then, and they were going to use that tape they were going to use it in Knoxville and another town, and maybe Johnson City. Maybe Bo would know something about this. But they started running that Appalachian, I called it the Appalachian Trail. And I went on, they paid me to go for a weekend with them, Friday night, Saturday, 2 shows, Sunday, 1 show. And it was, golly, I want to say this was late 80, maybe early 81, and I went up there and at Lexington, and we did Princeton, Kentucky, Hazard. What's the other one that starts with an H up there? But it was literally the depths of Appalachia. Hazard, and Harlan, Hazard, Princeton, and I forget the other town, sir. But anyway. Drew huge houses. Friday night show, Saturday a 2:00 show, and then a 7:30 show, I want to say. Eastern time zone again. And those were the Harlan Hazard shows because they're close together. The first one was Princeton, and I forget where the last show was in Kentucky. I want to say it's where Eastern Kentucky University was, because if I'm not mistaken, it was at their gym. And they filmed all those, and they paid me well, treated me well, and I didn't get any sign of there was any debauchery or anything going on poorly with them than it was in any other wrestling organization I'd ever at that point been part of. And the thing about it is they had some good young talent. And I want to say a guy named, was it Buck Robley?
Buck
Was
Robley
doing
was
some
the
promoting
booker
with
for Bill
them
Watts.
back then as well.
Yeah.
Colonel Buck Robley.
Yeah, I want to say it was him, and I'm trying to think there was another person involved, and they had some good young talent that were given an opportunity. But like you said, it was outlaw, but it was professional outlaw, if that makes any sense.
So I gave out accidentally false information because almost 9,000 people, the Road Warriors card, the next week didn't drop as much as I thought. It dropped to 4,500 people on December the 12th. The week after that, December the 19th, did 2,480 people, and we'll get to December 26th in a minute, did 6,500 people. But here we entertain you with great action and also try to give you a history of what's going on. The first Lawler Randy Savage cage match, which was something, and this match has about 15 minutes in length, and we'll have our mics open. We'll go to the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. This was on December the 12th of 1983, Savage and Lawler, and they didn't spend a lot of money on the cage, Pat, as we watch it right now. What do you think about the cage, Pat?
That's a pretty good looking cage there. That's not your usual cheap 9-gauge chain link fence.
December the 10th, 2024. This is Talking Memphis Wrestling. Michael St. John, Pat Trammell. I'm Randy Hales. Thank you for the birthday, Dennis. I like it when you just didn't. When you see the pre-match a little bit, they come out, the introductions, they're locking up the cage, and now we get ready for Savage and Lawler. Ended up the week before, December the 5th, with the disqualification win by Lawler.
Is this at the Coliseum?
Yes, absolutely. Randy West is right that Eddie did build the cage. The cage match they built in 1987 for the famous cage match with Rich hiding underneath the ring. Eddie had that built as well, did he not, Randy? Which to me, that cage was much, I think Eddie designed it, and it was much more visually impressive. Thank you, Wayne.
Puts him down on a canvas. And the only other meeting in history that these two have had, Savage poured it on Lawler, Lawler poured it right back. And when Jerry got Randy Savage in a position,
about 13 minutes left in this match. Lawler and Savage ended up drawing a lot of money. Savage the cool type of heel, ended up switching babyface back to heel, back to babyface, ended up as a heel. Then when he signed to go to the WWF at the time, Vince always said, don't give a notice. He wanted to hurt the local territories, Savage, because Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, the only ones that ever gave him a chance, a mainstream promotion. He says, I'm not coming unless I can give a notice. So that's the first, only wrestler that ever did that. Everybody else, including Jimmy Hart, left without a notice, Pat.
Yeah.
Because that's what Vince told him to do.
Jerry lost his cool, and as he got into Savage, Macho Man wrapped him up, nailed him hard, side headlocked him, and now reverse face lock on him. I don't know whether he's got his bone down there on that sleeper side or not. It's hard to tell. Referee Jerry Calhoun checking in there. Certainly.
Now, Randy met Elizabeth in Memphis, didn't he?
Lawler hooks
No.
the leg, Savage kicking it, trying to get away from it.
She was from Lexington, Kentucky, where the Popos was living and where ICW was based. When Randy debuted in '83 in December, Liz came with him. Now, she was not an on-air character until she got to the WWF, but she was with him every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday. She was with him, and I thought that was the prettiest woman I'd ever seen.
I'm not. It's hard to argue that.
You are going to see fireworks and a half before this bout is over with. Southern title at stake. Macho Man hanging on. Lawler trying to pry him off.
You know, most cage matches are into the cage and bloody and that sort of thing.
Keeping a close look to be sure.
So far, this is a wrestling match, Pat.
It's a great wrestling match.
Lawler
Yes.
tried to go underneath, it looked like, to get him in a fireman's carry throw, but Savage stepped out of it, hooked back in, and he really wraps it around him. That wrist bone applying a lot of punishment on Lawler, but it wasn't low enough to go for the sleeper. Straight standing side headlock, Jerry Lawler. Randy Savage. Woo! And Lawler fires Savage
Using the cage now.
to the two main side supports on this side. Savage hit those 2x4s, bounced off and hit that concrete.
Adam has a good comment. He says the cage was more of necessity to keep people in and out, not a gimmick or extension of the match. And that's a good point.
Side he is down on. Not all sides have any slack in them.
I'm curious to see where this goes. This is a very conventional match so
Next to
far.
the ring.
I wish I could remember, and I don't, Pat.
And Lawler's request.
I certainly was there on December the 10th,
Nothing there.
1983.
Stunned him with that move.
Hans with good comments. Appreciate certainly Randy West with his comment earlier, and Wayne and Todd and everybody here of Team Hales.
Strong armbar from Savage. Now he grabs it. Lawler rolled out of the way. Savage hits both of the ropes, flipped back on his head. And Lawler going with a pile driver, and the referee's going to stop him.
Man, the threat of the pile driver
Lawler, despite the
was
warning of the
something.
official, he's trying to pay Savage back all at once. Up in the air, and there goes Lawler, jumped over, and Savage falls on the ropes.
8.5 minutes left in this video. Coming up, highlights of the December 26th loser league town match. Bill Dundee and Steve Kearney. That's coming up in a few minutes.
He continues it. swings at him. They both go down. The airplane spin got them both, the Macho Man and the King. 45 minutes to go. Savage almost stumbles down on a concrete. He still hasn't gotten his equilibrium back. Lawler also. Here comes Randy. Lawler catches him. Big elbow. Puts him on the deck.
Frank, as far as structures of the cage, basically it was the preference of the promoter.
You can bet you neither one of these bodies will be able to stand at 45 more minutes at this pace, although I said the same thing about Lawler and Terry Funk, and they went 60 minutes. But Savage is totally a wild man. I just don't see how it's going to happen. The referee breaks him up. He goes right back at the throat of Jerry Lawler.
Pat, we've seen a lot of video in this series that we're doing. Some unique matches.
On the ropes, he's choking Lawler.
Yeah, very, very much so. I like seeing early
Randy
Savage.
catapults him back to the center of the ring. He's got both hands of tights. He's got one count. The referee sees him, says, break it up.
You know, for Savage and Memphis Wrestling and Lawler, this is pretty conventional so far.
Lawler over by the ring apron.
By conventional, do you mean boring?
Lawler's face.
Not necessarily for me, no.
Features grotesquely distorted. Lawler now trying to battle him off of it.
Hey, Michael, what's the first cage match you ever remember being live to see?
Referee trying to get the Macho Man back.
Well, that's a good one. Let me think for a minute.
Terrible punishment battling inside that wire. Oh.
I saw a live match while I was in college in Nashville at Father Ryan, at the Father Ryan Gymnasium after the women's building had burned at the fairgrounds, and Lewis Welch moved their wrestling over to Father Ryan for about 6 months on Wednesday night, and I saw a cage match between Don and Al Green and Jackie Fargo and Tojo Yamamoto.
Wow.
And it was a tag cage match, and that was in 71 maybe, late 71, and it was a pretty bloody affair.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, the cage match was chicken wire. It wasn't like a
Chain link.
A chain link, yes, sir. It was chicken. It was a chicken wire match. In fact, I think they may have even promoted it as such.
Of course, there's a perfect chance for Savage to say,
How about you, Pat?
"Didn't do it intentionally."
I saw Idol and Tommy Rich and at the Omni.
Our own idea about this wild man. Kind of one. Lawler just makes it out. The King running out of steam.
Randy, did you ever get the feeling that Randy and Lawler respected each other's talents, but really didn't like to work with each other?
Yes. I think it got better over time.
The thing about Lawler is Lawler always was a battler and a bruiser and a brawler, very Fargo-ish in his training and what he was in the ring for much of his career. I always felt that Randy Savage was extremely talented as an athlete. What he played AAA football or baseball or AA baseball in the Cardinal organization. He was an excellent football player, baseball player in high school. But I always felt like Lawler, what he lacked in athleticism, he made up with charisma and his ring knowledge and his ring savvy. Whereas Savage was just plain and simple talented and could talk, but maybe not always the most charismatic at selling tickets.
Michael, can I make a phrase for Savage and see if you agree? Randy was more of a high spot wrestler.
I'd agree with that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here we see Fargo and Lawler right here.
Lawler heaves him over the side. He hits the cage. Here comes Big Joe LeDuc. LeDuc is
Joe
coming
LeDuc.
right over the top of that cage. I can't believe that. LeDuc in the air above Lawler. It's going to be a disqualification as LeDuc brings it about. 20 minutes and
I think this match was underwhelming.
but now LeDuc
I agree.
and Savage have Lawler in
Yes.
Did LeDuc wrestle for the Poffos in ICW, Randy?
I don't think so.
I don't remember him, no. Has anybody followed Joe on Twitter? He apparently has started following me, and I've been getting a lot of his Twitter posts. He's very critical of today's wrestling.
Who's that?
Joe LeDuc.
Joe LeDuc's been dead for years.
Well, somebody then is using his handle on Twitter, and
that right?
is very critical of professional wrestling today.
Lawler wins it, but will he regret this one? Calhoun thrown over the top rope, dropped out into the concrete floor.
So now they're getting some heat. They're trying to get some heat on Saturday.
Savage drops with an elbow. They've got to get that door open.
He dropped the elbow as good as any that has ever done it.
While Savage holds him, LeDuc drops down with a big leg.
I brought LeDuc in for Monday Night Memories too, in Louisville and Memphis, both in 1995. Joe LeDuc was born on August the 31st, 1944, same year Bill Dundee was born. He passed away May the 1st, 1999 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Jamison and Dutch trying to get LeDuc out. Art Cruz helping Lawler. The referee
A question about LeDuc having a brother. It seems like I remember somebody named Jon, John LeDuc, wrestling at some point, but I don't know if that was brother by blood or brother by
He had a brother that he wrestled with, Paul LeDuc.
Carl LeDuc. Okay.
Paul.
Paul LeDuc.
Yes. They wrestled in Canada together.
That's an interesting.
This
I think
article that I'm reading, and it's rude to do that while I'm broadcasting here. I was trying to research. LeDuc later in life had a lot of problems with diabetes, and that's what ended up costing him his life. So, just very interesting situation, and I don't think with that cage match, because it's good to show that not everything that Memphis did, but the great majority was, and when something is just not overwhelmingly great, it's out of place because it didn't happen a lot, but they didn't give up on it, and Savage became one of the most memorable people not only in Memphis, but in the history of professional wrestling. So they didn't give up on it. Now, we talked last week, 83, the June 6, 83. We showed video with you hosting Championship Wrestling from Chattanooga. That went out of the wayside. Dundee came back here. Started back as a heel, switched to babyface, switched back to heel. Then Bill Watts' territory was in a mess. So he came to have a meeting with Lawler and Jarrett. As a matter of fact, Lawler and Jarrett flew to Louisiana and they looked at the talent there. And Watts came, looked for the talent here, and he picked Terry Taylor and he picked the Rock and Roll Express and Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton and Jim Cornette. The only people that he was not allowed to touch, if I remember at the time, was the Fabulous Ones was a no-no, and Jerry Lawler was a no-no, and I'm not 100% sure about the Fabulous Ones. he Watts, us pronouns pal, Watts didn't know what to do with little guys. He really didn't know, and so Jerry Jarrett said, "You need a booker that knows how to book this type of style." Said, "I can guarantee you that this talent will draw, but you need to know somebody that knows how to book them." So Bill Dundee got that job, and they popped that territory. And in that long history of Bill Watts territory, Bill Dundee in his first couple of years, the best business they ever had, they just had to write, so to speak, Bill Dundee out. And it worked out to a December the 26th card of 1983. And let me see, as I want to look at this card and just read you the card that drew almost 7,000 people. December the 26th, I don't have a graphic, but Angelo Poffo beat Jim Jamison. Plowboy Frazier won a handicap match over Robert Reed and Ken Raper. Stagger Lee and Dutch Mantell beat the Moondogs by disqualification. We had a mixed tag team match, mixed woman midget ladies match. Then the Grapplers, Tony Anthony and Lynn Denton against the Dream Machine and Porkchop Cash as the Bruise Brothers. The Rock and Roll Express against the A-Team, Don Bass and Randy Colley. Dirty Rhodes at that time. Then a Mid-America title match, Randy Savage against Terry Taylor. Jerry Lawler against Austin Idol, and Loser Lee with Dundee against Steve Kearns. So first of all, Pat, what do you think about that card?
I think that's a pretty stacked card there. I have a question for you, and I know if you can revisit it. What did I've heard the story, and I've heard it from Jerry Jarrett about Watts coming in and sending Dundee and the talent over, but what did Jarrett get out of that?
Not many times in his life that Jerry Jarrett gets the raw end of the deal. He got the raw end of the deal, except not really. They got Cornette, and they got the Midnight, and they got the Rock and Roll and Terry Taylor. Basically, the only person Jarrett got ended up, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, ended up not only a great WWF star, in the summer of '84 drew a lot of money in Memphis, and that was Rick Rude. Lawler had 40, 50 guys in the territory, and Jarrett wanted to get rid of somebody, a bunch of people.
Okay.
He said the wrestlers weren't happy because they weren't making money because there's 40, 50 people. Lawler just couldn't say no.
Randy, looking back at this time in this time period, you had Jerry Jarrett that was involved in booking at some point. You had Lawler that took over the book. You had Dundee that got the book. Who was the best booker?
It depends on the time period. I think all-time Memphis territory, Jerry Jarrett. I think the best money year in the history of the Memphis territory, Jerry Lawler. I think that Lawler was good at the most for a year and a half, and he got burned out. And once football season came around, look out, because Lawler could care less. That's just the way it was. Dundee always, when he was booking, it was him and Jarrett booking together. Those TV formats, if you remember, was always in Jerry Jarrett's handwriting, not Bill Dundee's.
True. One thing too, a little bit between Lawler, it was like when Dundee was booking, you had the smaller guys that were just brawlers and fast action and off the wall and off the ropes and off this and off that. And then Lawler would get the book, and you would get the monsters, but not the big, huge, humongous monsters, but the cartoon character, like the Mummy and and Dr. Isaac Yankem and all of that stuff. You would get sort of a Marvel Comics sort of heel come into the picture when Jerry was booking.
And the monster part, certainly, I didn't like it at all. Jeff Archie says Watts got, or Jarrett got Ito, Jim Neidhart, and Rick Rude. Neidhart wasn't the star he would become, and Ito never was the star. So that was the fact. The Dundee, Steve Kern loser leave town because Dundee was leaving again for the second time that year. June the 6th of 83, lost in a loser leave town against Jerry Lawler, the best match ever. This is 4-minute highlights of Steve Kern and Bill Dundee from Memphis.
No disqualification, no stopping match to a finish. We're right at the 15-minute mark. Kern is in the ring, but he fell to Dundee all the way across the ring.
This is a hell of a match
from
too,
the
man.
corner all the way over. Kind of 1, 2. Kern's leg is on a rope.
Referee Paul Morton.
Referee, the great bald eagle. Paul Morton, you're exactly right.
Kern kicks out at the count of 1.5. 16 minutes in, and Steve Kern still hanging in there. That's the kind of determination that he has. But Dundee, a master of every kind of tactic you can think of, makes up for the lack of size.
Is that Hillbilly Jim or Harley Davidson on the ringside there?
Yes, Hillbilly Jim, good call.
Oh, look at that! Dundee showing off, doing the Tarzan with his foot on Kern's chest, and Kern kicked up from the floor and nailed Dundee. Headbutt from Dundee. Billy has proved that he can do everything in the world to Kern, but pin him. Steve going after the big guy, who's got no business in there anyhow. And Steve Kern working on Jim Morris. Look out for Dundee. Oh, we see his hand.
That was his real name, by the way.
He's just waiting on
Yes.
Kern.
Do you remember Pat, Hillbilly Jim?
Kern
Yep.
got Morris out of there. And Kern ducks and fires Dundee
This is
over.
typical Dundee
He dropped
finish.
the train,
He
the
liked
chain,
that.
and now
Chain,
Steve's got it.
backdrop, babyface gets the chain.
Kern ripping Dundee with that chain. Fires it out to the ringside. He's opened Billy up. Kern ripping Billy.
The glee in Lance's voice.
Just pounding away on Dundee. Does he get him?
Don't you love the reactions from the people of those punches?
Nope, he didn't get him. Dundee won't give it up.
Boy, you don't get any kind of that anymore at all.
Steve, he likes that move. He grabs him in a waist lock, takes him over, drops him down on the top rope. He covered Billy, but I think he's too close to the ropes. He gets up and goes after Morris.
This must be a no disqualification match.
24 minutes in. Steve down. Morris pushes Dundee down. 1, 2. Steve kicks out.
Paul
Something
Morton
simple
goes.
like that. The false
Paul Morton
finishes
goes.
now are prostitutes. They really are.
Paul Morton with the slow count.
Absolutely. I love Paul, not a good referee.
Hearn, a ripping right hand.
Lawler was at Kern with the finish.
Three, he got it.
And the
Well, that was
people
it, and quite a
go
moment it
crazy.
was.
Now,
too,
David's
when that
going
third
there.
count came down there, Steve.
There's Bockwinkel in the
And
background.
you stayed, Dundee left. I know Stan Lane was happy about
That
it, too.
particular show, he co-hosted the show with Lance and Dave. And we just saw a tease of it. So, Pat, what did you think about that clip?
I thought that was a great match.
How about you, Michael?
Again, for that era, two of the best workers in the ring. Absolutely, two of the most bona fide, certified workers in the ring, without a doubt. Great match.
1983 on that card ended. And as I've said the last several weeks, 83, the most profitable year in the history of Memphis wrestling. And it never touched that level again for an entire year. Just tremendous, tremendous year. 1984 brought a bunch of changes. Lawler started out of the year booking. He booked a tournament in Memphis and had the Fabulous ones working like 3 times. He returned that in Louisville the next week. The Fabulous ones told Lawler, said, no, we're not doing working 3 times. Lawler says the tournament's set up to follow our TV. You have to. And they still refused. So Lawler fired the Fabulous ones, the hottest babyface tag team since Tojo Yamamoto and Jerry Jarrett. There's no doubt about it. And he fired them because business is business. Just like in 1974 when Lawler refused to go to Johnson City after the biggest year of his career to that point and of Memphis wrestling, Jerry Jarrett fired Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler fired the Fabulous ones and made a critical mistake. And we will see the new Fabulous ones right now. This is short, people.
I think that you're really going to be proud, as I am, of these men. They know what to expect from me. They know what to expect from you. They've been in New York and Ohio and all over the North and all over the West. Now they're in the good old South. They both love hominy grits and hog jaws and black-eyed peas, baby. Tommy, Eddie, baby, we got our work cut out for us. I don't want 100% from you. I want 110. So let's get with it and be good boys and put out all you got. And don't ever forget the fans. They're the backbones of the whole thing. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And my new Fabs, baby. And we'll be seeing you around.
I wanted you to talk, Michael, about that idea. Fab's gone, Lane and Kern. Lawler goes with Rich and Gilbert. And whose idea? I just know it wasn't Jerry Jarrett's idea. I can tell you that. I don't know if Rich and Gilbert suggested it to Lawler. Lawler came up with it on his own. I wasn't in the office yet. I have no idea. But what did you think about the idea?
Well, anytime you've got anybody as hot in a situation where it's hard to replace a legend or a legacy. And the Fabulous ones were the first in the position. They were the Kleenex of the world. They were the Xerox of the wrestling world. They came up with an idea, an angle, a gimmick, call it what you want, that just blew the roof off the place. And people, the key to the original Fabs, I really think, was their dress as much as their looks. Two really good-looking guys, good built, well physiqued, that women loved. It's like the old bar story. The success to a successful bar or nightclub, get the women in the club and the men will follow. Well, that was sort of what it was with the Fabs. The women just flocked to the arenas. They wanted to see them. They wanted to touch them. And God knows what they wanted to do after that. But, you know, I think anytime you have that kind of a ceiling and they leave, whether they're fired, they go elsewhere or whatever, when you try to replace that legacy immediately, it's a failure. I don't care if you bring in, You know, they could have brought in Bruno Sammartino and Lou Thez and called them the Fabs, and it wasn't the same. And the fans right away get offended by that. We see it in the radio world. You lose a morning show guy and you call the show the whatever. You bring in a replacement. The replacement could be Howard Stern and Don Imus put together, and they're going to fail miserably. And I think that's what it was. They didn't let everything cool down. They didn't let the pot simmer. They tried to right away replace big money with big names. And the problem was, I think both Tommy and Eddie, you know, they had been such great singles wrestlers in other areas and on the Superstation and so forth. You know, all of a sudden they come back to Memphis. You put them together as the Fabs, and the fans go, that ain't the Fabs. That's Tommy Rich and Eddie Moore and Eddie Gilbert. So I think the timing was just bad.
Pat, your thoughts?
I thought Michael alluded to this. You know, it was insulting to the fans. And, you know, it's new Coke. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Good copy.
And to be honest with you, you know, there wasn't a lot of excitement with Fargo. I mean, he barely sold it himself. He's like these two guys. Now, the other part of that was this. Tommy, at least, you know, it was obvious they were put together. But you know, Tommy had a lot of credibility as a singles wrestler at the time. And you know, when they put together Steve and the Steves,
Stan
and Steve, you know, they had all kind of been around, but they hadn't been top of the top. And you know, Tommy had a run in Georgia, so you know, the fans are smarter than Lawler thought they were in this instance, and they just weren't buying it.
Well, the thing about it, and it was one of our viewers Jeffrey's brought to the attention, that the one thing that this did is it led to one of the best heel turns in the history of the Mid-South wrestling, in my opinion, in Memphis wrestling.
And we'll get that in a little bit. I appreciate all the birthday wishes, folks. And then I'll explain later on. In '84, Jerry Jarrett returned as the booker. He switched Tommy and Doug to Tommy Rich, or Tommy and Eddie to Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert, and he brought back the real fabulous ones immediately after coming back and brought them back full time.
Did they go to AEW when they got fired? Is that what AWA? They went to Vern, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then they went ahead, they established Rick Rude as a top guy. These next three videos will be involving Rude. This one, Adam, I'll give you the first words of the description, but not the entire thing because it'll tip it off. Lawler pile driver. Let's watch that now on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Pat Trammell, Michael St. John.
I'm talking about
on my birthday.
Take a careful look at all of the action that took place. Lawler trying to get up.
Big crowd at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. This is a belt on a pole match.
He wins it. 11 minutes, 11 seconds. And now he's wheeling hard. He got Rude, and here comes Angel. Jumps on his back. Rude slams Lawler down, and now beating on Lawler. Hard from behind. Angel grinding away at the legs of Lawler. That's better than Rude. But it all stings.
Oh,
Look at the people, Pat.
baby's in the air.
The only thing I can say is you saw her jump right astride Jerry's back, and of course that provoked the whole thing along with previous incidents in there.
That's one of the most famous deals ever, without a doubt, and it led to this program that was just so good. I think it's important, Adam. This was just so tremendous, and that was Rude's real life girlfriend, not his wife, at all. Adam, can we re-rack that and play that video again and just listen to the people and the reaction, and let's Michael, just kind of analyze
I'm talking about
this
with
what we're
Angels. Take a
seeing.
careful look at all of the action that took place. And Lawler trying to get up. He's on the second turnbuckle. He's on the top one. He grabs the belt. He's got it. Lawler's going to win it. He wins it. 11 minutes, 11 seconds. And now he's wheeling hard.
Big pop with Hart, and here's Angel.
Jumps on his
And this was an era of time where a man wasn't touching a woman in the ring except to get her out of the way. And then for him to pile driver, that totally popped the crowd.
And here we get set for this. Let's listen to the reaction of the people. They've never seen this before.
Hart from behind. Angel grinding away at the
They let Angel with the belt get him some heat.
but it all stings.
Pretty low blows with that belt when she's hitting him with it.
Rude nails Hart. And there goes Rude over the top rope. Lawler's got
Now listen.
Angel. Pile driver. And the crowd responds.
Randy West drumming that from upstairs. What a shot.
Over the top rope.
Talk about heat.
Hold of Angel. Pile driver.
And she sold the heck out of it, too.
Crowd responds. Pile driver.
Great job by Adam.
Crowd responds.
Look at the people, Michael.
Oh, unbelievable. And look at Rude. Rude's really sold it, too. That was well done.
You saw her jump right astride.
And
Jerry's
Lance
back,
sort of
and
just
course
in
that
Lance.
provoked the whole thing along with previous incidents in there. Angel is not with us right now. You can bet on that. Whoop, bring it back.
Oh, classic Lance. Classic Lance. Classic Lance.
So, where were you? That's the word. Where were you in 1984 when this happened?
Now, this was, what month was this?
Probably summer.
Okay, I was transitioning. Kicks 104 had been sold. He had sold it. Ronnie Bledsoe had sold it to a company out of Atlanta, and I decided not to stay with the company and was offered the vice president's position with Sun Group Broadcasting, George Mooney's company, Frank Wood's company, and I took that position. Spent a week of vacation, probably the best ever vacation I ever had in Los Angeles. With somebody I was very close to at the time, and got my feet up under me for the new company. They sent me to Birmingham to turn around the fortunes of Kicks 106 that had fell from first to worst. Walked into the building. They had a 4.1 share. I had made a deal with the president of the company and with George Mooney that if I could make Kicks 106 #1 in Birmingham again, that they would give me their Nashville property because I still owned a house in Hendersonville, never sold it. And I wanted to move back there because my kids wanted to go to school there. And anyway, when George Mooney and Frank Wood signed the contract, they were like, yeah, it'll take him a couple of years. We'll be good. Well, 9 weeks later, we went from worst to first in Birmingham, highest number Kicks 106 ever achieved, a 14.9 share in the fall book of 84. And all we did was shut up and play the hits. And we had a great haunted house promotion where a new star, a budding star on the scene that we were one of the first stations in America to play her song, came and hosted our JC's Haunted House down in 5 Points South. And she hosted 30 of our listeners on a private tour through our haunted house. And she played a concert that night at the Boutwell Auditorium, and it was none other than the soon-to-be wrestling superstar singer as well, Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, what a fantastic story that I did not know. I think Pat's back. Pat, are you back on the set with us? Yes, you are. What did you think about Michael's story, and what did you think about the Angel pile driver?
Well, like Michael said, you don't see that very often. I had not seen that up to that time in 1983, and you could hear the pop for sure.
It continues with Rude trying to get, yes, PJ, that's who Michael had that radio program promotion with. Adam, this is Rude pile drivers. Oh, no, Rick Rude destroys. Rick Rude destroys is that video. We've seen this before. What made this is so real, guys, Adam and Pat and Michael, Randy West watching, the production is not smooth because this is out of character stuff that's going to happen. And so it looks like a shoot because the production does not look set up. Rude looks like a movie star.
He does.
If Rude would have been in the WWE 15 years later, he would have been. If Batista could make it, think of what this guy could have done.
He was 2 years in the business, probably 3 at the most. Was never used as a main event star. Jerry Jarrett saw something in him and figured something for him to do, collaborating with Lawler as well, and this is what they got. It drew tremendous money.
I want to wreck you. I want to wreck your home. I want to wreck all your relatives. And you know what, Lance? Jerry Lawler, you can't wait till Monday night. Well, let me tell you something, punk. I can't wait till Monday night either. I just can't wait.
The Lance looks puzzled. Look at the fans, Pat, jumping in the ring.
This is good stuff here.
Yeah. You see what I mean about the production? This don't look set up. The kids are in the ring, Lance is in the ring. Just tremendous.
I'm telling you, we get back in here like it's his kid.
Whose Lincoln was that, Randy?
Lawler. Hart left to go in February of '85 to the WWF.
You know, I guess after this is when Channel 5 made that camera more portable to get outside to some of the other angles they shot outside.
Yeah.
Lawler without the leotard look.
Had Bundy with the getaway car. I like that.
Jerry, who had wrestled earlier on Championship Wrestling, in the event that you didn't see it, they got him back out of the shower. Well, okay. Mama said there'd be days like this. Lee took a ball bat and absolutely just shattered Lawler's windshield, beat on the car, walked all over it. Yeah, okay. All right, let's take a break and we'll be back with
Absolutely, DD.
I totally agree. Wrestling was real back then.
And you see, it doesn't matter that there wasn't a camera you could carry outside. The production quality was pretty crappy, but they were trying to get the live, what really actually happened.
And the reaction
It's
of the
beautiful
people.
TV.
Yeah, it's beautiful TV. It's what TV on live TV is all about. And I want to elaborate a little more. Pat's gonna have to step away, and obviously, it's 8:30, so I don't know, Pat, if we'll still be on the air when you come back. But just thoughts of what we just saw on that and about the show that we've had today.
Well, I hope I'll be on a minute. I was supposed to have a call at 9, but I think it's going to be a little earlier. But it's a business call. But anyway, on that, it's just what I said. You know, it's live. You know, Sterling Brewer used to say portions of live studio wrestling, but that was live studio wrestling. That's something that I'm going to, Suzanne, you won't believe this. Look what he did to his car. You know, that's what this stuff is all about. That's what makes Memphis wrestling Memphis wrestling.
Well, Pat, go take care of your phone call, and if we're on when you get back.
Well, he's got to call me, so I'm just going to sit here and watch. So go ahead.
Just real quick, too, Pat, and you made a fabulous point there. Could they pull that off on TV today without looking staged, being that we have seen quote unquote live shows, reality TV, wrestling, everything. Can you pull anything off like that on TV today to make it sell the way that just did?
The only thing that what was going through my mind when we were talking about this is the white Bronco chase.
Wow.
It's live TV, things going on. I don't know if you could or you probably could, but you probably would have to rehearse it to do it.
Well, and what have you not seen on TV other than, and even, we've even seen murder on TV. I mean, you've seen the videos now of the guy from United Healthcare getting gunned down. And I mean, and that's as gory and as gruesome as you'll ever see. I don't think you can ever do this. And you know, the one thing about it, Randy, that I loved about the way that was done is the fact was Rude was hacked off. When you're so mad and so mean, you'll do anything dastardly to do it. And he rips back the curtains. How many people in the TV world up until then knew that there were garage doors behind those curtains the way Memphis TV was set up?
Nobody. It was just awesome thing, and as Adam pointed out, one way that now every cameraman, half the audience, everybody knows, because half the people's in the building when they do the rehearsals, what's going to happen next. First of all, that's the main thing to do it today. Don't smarten up the cameraman. Don't smarten up the director. That's what you have a producer, as in a Jerry Jarrett or a Randy Hales or whoever up there that knows what's going on. And, you know, it's just a natural reaction. You know, I tell people, I said, how did this stuff not get out? Well, the reason it didn't get out is that the wrestlers wouldn't know what they were doing till they were caught in that bathroom, or in later years for Power Pro, the conference room, we got moved. Remember when they took the radio stations out of Channel 5 with the new ownerships? We got the FM 100 control room, conference room as the Power Pro production room. Nobody knew what we were doing. There wasn't no rehearsals. It'd just be hard to do. They'd have to change what going on.
That was the days that you could kayfabe the staff. You could kayfabe the wrestlers, and like they would be amazed at what they were seeing at times as well. How many times back then you'd have the wrestlers, when something like that happened, you'd see them peeking through that doorway where they came out at Channel 5, watching what was going on, because they weren't privy to what was going on prior to it happening.
This is a pretty big match we're going to watch now, and help me with it, Michael, because it's 16 minutes, so we'll have to add to the commentary. Not that Lance needs help, but we can tell the story of what's going on. This is the tag team of Jerry Lawler and Randy Savage is a baby face at this time, and they're going against Rick Rude and Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm sorry. King Kong Bundy. I'm sorry, I'm out of my mind. And Rick Rude against Savage and Lawler. This is 16 minutes, 21 seconds as we watch now and talk about the crowd.
This tag team match is one that I didn't think I would ever see. One full 60-minute time limit. The first family of professional wrestling, King Kong Bundy and Rick Rude. Their opposition, the team, unbelievable as it is, Jerry Lawler and Randy Macho Man Savage. Crowd's been waiting all night long for this one. Lawler's hit us Rude. Said, you busted me up, my friend, and I'm going to get you.
Randy, is this you doing the commentary?
I'm sorry, let me listen.
Is this you doing the commentary on this?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Man, Bundy was a big guy, Michael and Pat.
He was. Brilliant guy, too. Really smart guy.
Yeah.
No loss with Randy Savage.
Yes, this was pre-WWF, buddy. I think he came from Bill Watts.
You're absolutely right, Todd.
You're right, Randy. And he always reminded me in the early days, he reminded me of Crusher Blackwell.
Yes,
Of
could
long-living
move.
Crusher Blackwell.
Bundy backs him up. Here comes Randy Savage. Hooks the arm. Takes him over.
Watch how light and quick Randy is.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
He's so quick. And the people are totally 100% behind him.
Bundy and Reed. Walking in the corner. Lawler and Savage. Man, this Bundy's huge.
Man, Bundy is big.
Bundy gonna smash it. He smashes Reed. Runs right into him. Lawler moves.
This was the point that Adam pointed out in our private chat. Randy was upstairs, and we had Ken Parnell with the camera, a floor camera, as you see Ken there. Did you know Ken Parnell, Michael?
Yes, I did. Not as well, of course, as Randy West. And I thought Parnell was good, but in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think people would agree with it, Randy West was the cream of the crop.
Oh, absolutely. No comparison.
The GOAT.
We said it before. This guy.
Randy was so laid back. Did you ever see Randy mad? If you did, very
Oh, yeah.
rarely, right?
Well, it wasn't very often, but I got to, I think I probably hacked him off a couple of times. But I mean, most of the time it would be over something technical. But the thing about Randy West too is he had a great explanation or a great sense of putting things together when he had to edit. You never saw a bad edit. You never saw something that was just not in what it needed to be. He was a perfectionist to the point of it came to him naturally. That's what made him so good.
Ken Parnell worked for WMC. He's just real hot-headed. I mean, just real temperamental hot-headed. And Randy would get frustrated, obviously, if something went wrong. But the beauty of what we did was we had talent able to cover if things went wrong. It didn't have to be choreographed.
I guarantee you they didn't practice this match.
No, knowing Lawler, they didn't talk about it. They got the finish probably. Usually Lawler don't give them the finish when the bell rings. I mean, honest to God.
I remember in the back we would say, okay, he would say so-and-so's going to go over and there's going to be some fireworks or there's going to be an afterbirth or whatever. But he'd never go into detail as to how they were going to go over. So when you called it, you were as enthralled and involved in it as the fans were, which to a Lance Russell, when you're talking again about the GOAT, the GOAT of announcers, he's going to make it great anyway. So add to the fact that he's seeing it for the first time without expecting it or knowing it, makes the call even better.
Randy says, thanks for the kind words, Michael.
Hey, listen, any words I say about Randy West, I could never, ever explain in my vocabulary how great the guy was at production and putting things together and certainly producing me when I had to do things. And hey, he will always be. He will always be my favorite production person ever, radio, TV, whatever. Macho Man taking Lawler before anything bad could be done. People pop.
Excellent.
This is textbook, Randy. This is textbook stuff.
Very rarely we hear this long a situation, but I think it's good to do this from time to time. We got about 8 minutes and 40 seconds to left with these 16 minutes. And this is a major main event. Savage and Lawler, Bundy and Reed, Michael and Pat.
Yes, sir.
If you notice, there's no dead spots in this match.
When the talent is over, they've got heat involved with the heels, something personal going on, and it's our Coliseum. There wasn't a better atmosphere anywhere, Michael.
I agree. And when they bring this match on the bicycle, if you would, put it on in other cities, your reaction in Louisville was the same as it was in Memphis. The reaction in Nashville is the same as it was in Nashville or in Louisville and Memphis. I mean, I'm sure Evansville was the same way. The fans are the fans of wrestling. They're going to react the way that these guys are wanting them to react, because these guys, like you said, are the ultimate pros, and they're getting across the angle. They're getting across what it's all about. Look at this, the airplane spin. Look at this.
You don't see that much.
You don't
Never.
see that much.
Atomic drop. Next to Fargo, I think Randy Savage probably executed that move as good as any.
Pick that one up.
Yeah.
Bundy is athletic for a big guy like that.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, he was.
Again, remember Crusher Blackwell, Pat, very instinctive moves as a big guy, and I think this Bundy is a Crusher Blackwell just one generation later.
I'm going to eliminate a couple of videos, and we will go to the Tommy Rich Eddie Gilbert video. Tommy Rich Bloodies Eddie Gilbert. This is memorable, and that's coming up. And so we may end up going to 9 o'clock today, but I think it's important to tell that story of Rich and Gilbert here today to finish the show on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Is that okay with everybody?
Good with me.
It's a 10-minute video. There's 4 minutes, 20 seconds left in this.
Something you don't see today, the distraction of the egging the other guy in the ring. Referee comes over to take care of that. In the meantime, behind him, all hell breaks loose.
It's our type of wrestling 101.
Textbook, like I said, absolutely right, Randy. 100%.
Pat, this is the thing of a lot of the stuff we watched tonight are things of beauty.
No question.
And once again, everybody in the ring is in the Hall of Fame, including the referee Jerry Calhoun. They're all in the Hall of Fame. There's a reason.
You know, though, one thing, you know, you got three guys who are you know, obviously recognized as WWE superstars, but they're wrestling a Memphis match, and Lawler's leads the match.
Pretty good play-by-play, if I can say so.
I agree. On top of it, amazing how Bundy could get to the mat. He'd go down on the mat and then get back up. A lot of big guys have a tough time. People anticipating hot tag.
Magic. This is a hell of a match, boy.
Drop down. Is this no DQ as well?
I think so. I don't know. Was Savage disqualified?
I don't think that there's been. Didn't see him call for the bell. I didn't see Jerry call for the bell. There we go. There we go. Double count out, maybe.
Might be.
The indestructible timers table at the Mid-South Coliseum. I bet that thing's still intact.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. All right. That was fantastic. Pat, you still with us?
I am. I'm going to go ahead and go, and because I've got something coming up in just a minute. Happy 63rd to you. I hope we're here in 23 more.
My niece Tracy turned 60 years old. My great nephew Cal he turns 20 years old today. So three birthdays in our family. Tommy Rich bloodies Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert bloodies Tommy Rich. This is great stuff. You're a Rich fan and you got to go. That's terrible. Let's
All
go.
right, we'll see you next time.
Matt, I'll see you
Good night,
before
everybody.
Wrestling
Christmas.
coming up a little bit
Come
later,
your way.
including our
See you
first
before
look at Mark
Christmas.
Regan and what should be a tremendous tag team expiration of time main event a little bit later. And we have a presentation coming up for the Tag Team of the Year. This is made by
Did you
Wrestling
like
Fans
when they used
International.
this
Now,
set
the voting is done
for
in the
interview
spring,
sets?
and
I
the
don't think I
presentation is
did.
made
I
at
like
the
the
annual convention.
I like the
Wrestling
announce
Fans
table
International
better.
are holding their annual
I
convention
agree, and
this
I
week,
remember.
and
I
they
barely
have the
remember
trophies for
this
Tag
set.
Team of the Year that they are going to be presenting.
This
Unusual
is just
situation
like
this
two
year in
baffers
that
or
the
two
team
baffer
that was
walls put
voted
together.
Tag Team of the Year when the voting was cast in the spring are no longer together.
They were trying to pretty up the
with,
studio.
Wrestling Fans
Sometimes
Fine, David.
just
Thank
the
you.
blood
I
and
want to
guts,
introduce to
just
all
simple
the wrestling
type of
fans
thing.
on
This is the
Championship
Wrestling
Wrestling out
Fans
there.
International
Representatives
Association.
from that organization.
Howard Baum and Pete
Head of the
Letterberg,
organization
I
now
believe
is
is who these
Pete
two
Letterberg.
gentlemen are.
Pete, delighted to have you here.
It's just a pleasure to be here in Memphis, Lance.
And Howard Baum. Howard, both of you are from Florida. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. We're from Miami. Big wrestling fans all
You
our
get back
lives.
down there, you give Gordon Soley my best,
Exactly,
too, will you?
right.
Okay. You guys are participating in the presentation. We really appreciate you
Do
doing it.
you remember
right
this,
here.
Michael?
Tag Team of the
I do.
Year. Tommy Rich, Eddie Gilbert. The fact that they are not currently wrestling together as a tag team has nothing to do with the award and our appreciation of you doing it here, Pete.
Well, of course, you know, Lance, the voting goes on for the whole year, and this encompasses 1984, and they were quite a good team for the whole year up till now.
No question about that.
It's just unfortunate they're not teaming right now, but what can you do? They are the tag team of the year.
Okay, we want to get Eddie and Tommy out here for the presentation of it, and we also want to say that we hope maybe during the year we're going to be able to disseminate a little more information on your organization and all, so more people will have a chance to participate in it.
That would really be great.
Eddie Gilbert. Okay, we congratulate you. It, of course, is rather an unusual situation, and I don't have to go into that. But there is your trophy as one half of the Tag Team of the Year.
Well, Lance, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the WFIA, thank all the people for giving this to me. It's unfortunate, though, that it looks like you'll probably have to take
Now, Michael,
Tommy's
this
to
is
him
Jerry
because,
Jarrett's
maybe you
booking.
people
I
out here
would
don't
think
realize it, but
that
Tommy is
it
our
was probably
international
picked
heavyweight
by
champion now.
Eddie
He
Gilbert.
does,
Would
he
you agree
doesn't
with
come to
that?
television
I
anymore doing
would.
interviews or
And Eddie
or
coming
wrestling
off
here.
like
he,
Jerry did
he
in
goes
his
all over the
interviews.
world now. Memphis doesn't
But
really
it
mean
sorta
that
sounds
much
like
to him
Jerry.
anymore. He don't show up here. He's such a big shot now and a big man on the totem pole. And but you know, he's the one that turned his back on me. He's the one that turned his back on these people. And if it's still up to me, there'd be a Rich and Gilbert team. But no, he's really a big shot. But today he couldn't be here because of one reason. Because he's still probably running from me from the last time we met. Because he's such a chicken and such a coward, brother. That's all that's wrong with him. So I like to thank everybody for my. That's the only thing.
Tommy out there in his suit, three-piece suit.
Here's the reaction from the people.
There's a place for that, and it's in the ring. It's not here. Sorry, Pete and Howard, and we thank you for coming here. We're going to take time out, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Oh, yeah, okay. Eddie, you need to get that bleeding stopped. We've got another segment coming up here right now.
Lance, just give me a chance, please. You know, I feel like a fool. I feel like, please, I feel like that maybe
Michael, this is so good.
Done something terrible. And I've done something wrong. And maybe Tommy was right when he said that I feel like I've let everybody down, Tommy, you, these people, all the little kids ever looked up to Eddie Gilbert
This
and
is a swerve, my
turned their
friend.
back on him. I was jealous. I was envious because you're the champion. You had the title matches. And Lance, if there's any way to get Tommy out of here, because, and I don't know, I know you could have something to do with this. Let me say this to you. Maybe you can tell Eddie Marlin from now on, there won't be any more matches scheduled between Tommy Rich and myself because he can win them on forfeit. I will not show up. I'll not wrestle him anymore because if Tommy's watching these people, this represents that the people of this country and the WFIA voted us Tag Team of the Year. And Tommy, you're just like a brother to me. And it's taken a long time for me to come around to my senses, but I've been a little crazy and I haven't been right. But now I realize it because you beat my brains out here in front of these people and everybody watching. And I've been wrong, Lance.
Well,
I've been wrong, and I admit it. I'll admit it to everybody here and to you.
Takes a bigger man to do that, and I don't know whether Tommy has any desire to come out here.
If there's any way at all this promotion, if they can get Tommy out, because I've been wrong. I've acted stupid. I've come out here. I've said things I shouldn't have, and I've just kind of been in my own world here lately, and I'm sorry. I apologize. And if we can get Tommy out here, I'd like to just tell him this.
Talking about
face
Eddie
to
Gilbert
face.
digging himself. I have never, in a wrestling ring, heard the word digging or has said it myself.
Please.
Never said it.
Unfortunate situation, but I appreciate you being man enough to stand
Never
up here
heard
on
it.
television and say
Get
You're
things
right.
up.
You were right about everything. I haven't been the man that I said I was. You're a better man. You're twice the man I am. You're a former world champion and international champion. And all I'm saying, let's forget it. These trophies mean more to me, and these people mean more to me, and you, as a tag team partner, mean more to me. And let's get back together, and let's be the team we were, and let's have that friendship back that we were. Please. Please.
I know it's difficult,
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
You'll be there. In other words, anytime I need you from now on, Eddie Gilbert's going to be there, is what you
Yes,
tell me.
I'm telling you. Please. Just please accept my apology. I'm doing this in front of everybody so everybody will know that I'm not ashamed of admitting I was wrong. And I was wrong.
I'm delighted.
And the people go crazy.
We'll keep the trophies over here for you. Okay.
I love that reaction from Lance. Love it. Lance doesn't oversell this. That's what makes it right, Michael.
Well, we got Eddie
You're-
Gilbert.
You're absolutely right, and the humbleness
Listen,
just
Tommy
suckered the
Rich
people
over
right
there,
in.
all that stuff he was talking about was just hogwash, trying to catch Tommy unaware. Eddie! So we can... Let's get this guy out. Boy, you deserve anything you get from now on. I'll guarantee you that. Why don't you just get out of here?
Blood all over that floor.
Watch him. And I'll tell you, we don't care if you never come back in here. Yeah, well, just get out of here, Eddie. Nothing smart about that or anything else. Lousy, low thing to do in there. You can help Tommy back, yeah, thank you. Okay.
High coffee to the rescue.
Yeah. And Tommy's still selling.
Okay,
Has his
Tommy
book
got
come out yet,
waylaid
Randy?
and they're
Not that I know of. All right, now what we're going to do, I'm going to save for a full screen shot of me to do a where I can one-to-one talk to Team Hales today. But Michael, just kind of a reaction to the show today and your final take for today as we lead into my final talk to the audience today.
This was a great day for me. I got to spend 8 hours with my grandson Christmas shopping, and I come back, and then we have one of the most perfectly timed out Memphis Championship Wrestling shows, meaning we haven't seen Memphis Championship Wrestling displayed as perfectly as it was done with every segment tonight. And I think this is a testament to how great Memphis wrestling was. And I think it's a testament to why people today hold it in such high esteem for what we've been watching tonight. So great idea putting it together. You and Adam did a fabulous job. And happy birthday to you, my friend. 63 is not old. I'm 10 years older than you are. And I will echo what our good friend Pat Trammell said. 23 years ago, 23 years from now, God willing, I hope we're doing the same thing at the same time, talking about the same wrestling.
Quick question. What? I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. What happened to your ESPN logo you used to have behind you?
Well, I had a couple of people ask me about the radio stations and about, our company. I had this made, and the people that made it actually screwed it up. I had to get a replacement that we use on our live events. So this is sitting in the corner of my wife's office, and she says, "Why don't you put it up in your office? Why don't you put it up in your studio?" So that's where the ESPN banner is folded up in the corner back there, and maybe someday it'll come back. But this is Melanie's idea, and I sort of like it.
Tell everybody where they can listen to the Fun Radio Group.
I added this logo, by the way. Fun 92.7 FM and 104.9 FM. You can find online at fun927.com and funradioal.com. Our Tennessee stations at 93.5 and 93.9. Fun 93.5, 93.9 WTNK are at funradiotn, like Tennessee.com. And, of course, Classic Country on WRAB. That's the other logo back there, WRAB 107 FM or WRABradio.com. And we have introduced now, it's been out and active for about a month now, we have our Fun Media Group app. And when you pull it up on your phone, Joshua's got my phone right now, but when you pull it up on your phone, all the logos of all the stations come up on the app, and you just pick the one. It's basically a dashboard like it's on your car radio. And you pick the one you listen to, so you can listen to any of them on the same app. Fun Media Group Incorporated or Fun Media Group app. Download it. If you have one of our other apps, this will replace it. Will roll over it. So, hey, you can listen to any of them anytime, anywhere.
Now, Brandon has the same thing. The markets here at East Arkansas Broadcasting EAB media app, and you can listen to KFIN or KISS or Sports Talk KNEA or the News Talk KBTM or the Classic Country Group apps is the thing. Michael, thank you so much.
God love you, Randy, and for all the folks that watched and are with us every week, God love you. I know we probably got one more show for the year, because I know 2 Tuesdays tonight it's Christmas Eve, and 3 Tuesdays from tonight is New Year's Eve. So unfortunately, I won't be a part of those, but I know that come 2025, bigger and better things are coming our way. But happy birthday to you, Randy. God love you, and again, best of health, best of wishes, and we'll see you next week on hopefully a Christmas edition of the show.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll be fun. Thank you, Michael St. John. Adam, just listen to what I say here and back me up with pictures. I want to speak to Team Hales today, and put this microphone down and just go flick on my other microphone that's just a tabletop. You know, I'm not at a loss for words very much. But just have a couple of minutes, and we're going overtime anyway, and so I just want this to come out right. I started the show by saying the Randy Hales story began on December the 10th, 1961. Here we are, December the 10th, 2024. And I'm 63 years old today. I've never been 63 years old before. The thing that comes in my mind when I think of that age of 63, the last birthday of my dad's life, Harold Jackson Hales, my dad's life, the last birthday he had was in November of 1980. He passed away in February of 81 at 1960, at the age of 63 years old. Life's something. It is. And you think from a family perspective, Adam, and when you think being raised by my father Harold and my mother Margaret Hales, and we have some of those pictures I think up there, and I don't like the suit that I was wearing. My mother's hairstyle is crazy. This was, of course, after church. I was raised in church, Sunday school and church every Sunday morning at First Christian Church in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Looking at some of the other pictures of me younger, and as I grew up, as we switched to some of the other pictures. One of my favorite pictures of me, Cowboy Randy. Cowboy Randy. That's cool too. I don't know how many pictures we have. This, folks, is my high school graduation picture as I graduated May the 16th, 1980. Brings back a lot of memories. This is a picture in 2009. My mother, Mary Margaret Hales Davis, passed away in 2011. This is the last professional picture that I made with me and my mother, and I can cherish that the rest of my life, as I'm proud of the fact to say that I'm a mama's boy. I think we maybe have one or two more pictures. I love this picture with me and Bill Dundee with Lance Russell. Of course, wrestling, a big part of my life. Thanks to Shane Russell for putting that together. The wrestling business, man, who would ever thought it when I was that young geeky looking kid? Now I'm an old geeky looking old man. Now drawing money in Louisville, Kentucky, bleeding like a stuck pig. Here's me and Double B, Brandon Baxter, at Night to Remember in September, and I like that picture as well. Folks, I'm glad to make 63, and another thing I'm glad for is Adam Dunn, who does a fantastic job producing. Miss Chris Ellis today, he got married a year ago, December 10th, a year ago today, and he was going for a anniversary celebration, and proud of him and glad he's happy. And I'm thankful without a doubt, I'm thankful for Team Hales. Thankful for everybody. This has been a great show. We'll finish up 84, 85, and we'll tell you what we got going on as the holidays are coming around. We probably will not be here on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. Appreciate everybody. Until Monday with the Great Power Pro Show, this is Randy Hales saying good night, everybody. Love y'all.
Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.